The links to join channel, become a member, or the Odyssey bitch you subscribe, Star Gap, Telegram. So he says this quote, this the director of Terminator crap version, that I thought if I made a good nerd movie, plot twist, sir, you didn't make a good movie. You didn't make a good nerd movie. You didn't make a good movie of any sort. That movie, Terminator 1 and 2, were some of the best, sci-fi, action, adventure, horror films ever made. Terminator 2 was a powerhouse of a film, especially if you saw it in a theater. Like back in the 90s, and when those movies came out, if you saw those things in the theater, I remember seeing Total Recall. Those movies were like events in the theater. And I know they're just fun action movies, but people in the audience were just going nuts. It was a whole experience to see those movies in the theater. And then go out to a bar later that night and see George Lucas at a bar. That's kind of a trip. Anyway, so George Lucas, Terminator, by this idiot. This is not a Terminator. This is a chick. Is she a hot chick? No. I mean, I'm sure if she had long hair, she'd probably look okay, but she's not a Terminator, and she's not a hot chick, and she's not a man, and you're putting her in this man's role. So what do we want to see her for? Oh, you should want to see her anyway. Yeah, but I don't. Oh, well, you guys are istaphobic? You're literally all these nonsense appellations they try to apply to us, all these names they throw at us. It's like, yeah, you can call us all that kind of stuff, anti-woman, whatever. But it doesn't get us in the seats. You know, calling people all these names, you've been calling people these names for like 10 plus years, or I guess really heated up ever since Trump, who is really like the most mild milquetoast guy. It doesn't get people to pay you money. In fact, it makes them less likely to support you because now they know that you're just mentally ill. So Terminator, he says that mistakes were made. No shit. He gives an interview and he admits the movie bombed. He doesn't exactly blame himself. He says maybe people are tired of the Terminator series. No, it's a pretty basic idea. If somebody goes back in time and tries to fix something, you could remake Terminator 1 and 2, even kind of following closely to the original film, because the original Terminator 1, I think, came out in the late 80s, I think. You could do it like that and have kind of a slow build up to where Sarah Connor notices that a bunch of young women with her name are getting deleted, and then finally the media points it out, and it's like this slow build up to horror, because at the end of the movie, once they discover the Terminator and they discover the good guy who rescues her, it's kind of like the last half hour of the movie is kind of one long chase scene, finding clues and trying to fix the future and all this kind of stuff. It's like you could remake those movies today. It's like you just find actors who are right. Oh, you mean we're gonna have like black, trans, other can actors? No, that's not what I mean. I mean, go watch Terminator 1 and 2. Look at the visuals of that movie. In fact, for the first one, like you could remake that movie and set it in the 80s with all those like not the disco clubs, but like the punk rock clubs and that kind of stuff, and the neon and the ridiculous fashions of the time. It's like, just do a throwback movie. Why not have a little fun with it? The movie's 30 years old. I'm sure you could get a whole new generation of people that would be on board with it. Remaking Terminator 2, I don't see that one happening. That was more lightning in a bottle, because you had the kid who played John Connor was just amazing for the role. He turned out to have a rough time afterwards. I mean, Hollywood's a bitch, man. He had some chemical issues. And he had Schwarzenegger, he had Linda Hamilton. It's like, you're not going to remake Terminator 2. But Terminator 1, you could actually kind of remake that, because that's kind of a slower build-up. So he gives this interview, and he doesn't really... It's like he talks around a lot of issues, like still trying to blame the audience, and he says people are tired of the series. No, you could keep coming back to that obviously now you got to use new actors, but there's no reason not to keep telling that story. Don't do this, though. We don't want to see this. We want to see beautiful people doing kick-ass things. That's kind of been the rule of thumb for comics, for movies, for stories. It's like people you want to see on screen, not people you don't want to see on screen. We want to see this, a dude with a AR and a 40 millimeter just laying waste to the bad robots. And we don't want to see this, chicks whose periods have synced up and they're having a hard time. Why? That's real life. We don't really want to see that on movies. So no, we're not tired of the series. We're tired of, in general, race and sex swapping. Obviously not just with this series, but everything that's come out of Hollywood in the past 8 years. Everything post 2016 is crap, and then everything post 2020 is unwatchable. Like I keep saying, no, I think Hollywood is actually over. Post 2020 BLM Antifa riots. No. All Hollywood. It's all over. At the big budget level. The small budget level, you might find some good things. I saw the Clerks 3 trailer. Oh, God help me. It looks okay. I know Kevin Smith and the He-Man thing. I know, but He-Man wasn't his thing. And you know, I saw Jane Silent Bob reboot, and I saw it the first time. I hated it. I thought, oh, this is just cringe. And then I saw it again with a friend. I'm like, it's not as bad as I thought. And then the Clerks 3 trailer, I'm like, this kind of looks interesting because you got Randall playing a bigger role, and he's making fun of the original ending that Kevin Smith wanted to have, and calling Kevin Smith a hack, and it seems like a nice way to tie up a movie that's, what is it, 30 years old movie. It's like Clerks had such an impact on a certain segment of us when we were younger. Anyway, so we don't want to see race and sex swapping. Terminator is about some robot guys who are doing battle with humans as the prizes. If you change that, then you make it not Terminator. Women are not robot guys. This is not the role of women. They're the object to be rescued. Yes, all people are objects in different roles. And most women love that story structure about that fantasy of being petite and beautiful and protected and having people come to their rescue. Most people are on board with that. So in these classic stories, Piers Anthony, Dragon on a Pedestal, he wrote that book, I don't know, probably in the 80s, is a kind of a good example of the girl is not a helpless idiot. She's also playing an active role in the adventure. It's an SJW lie that women don't have agency in these stories. First of all, we're not misogynist. You guys are, SJWs are all just a bunch of dumb twats. All these istaphobic terms are just tools of these cultural Marxists to manipulate people. They build these shields, all these hot words they use and they put in the lexicon. Trans, gay, racist, all that kind of stuff. They use their control of the media and academia to establish the nomenclature. And then once it's firmly established, and it takes decades, they've been doing this stuff for 50 years, then they use the ADL, SPLC, ACLU to attack and threaten people who don't accept this nonsense Bolshevik narrative. Bolshevism is a failure, and cultural Bolsheviks who are trying to redo this thing from 1914 are still the same failures. They use the fear of social media pressure to silence dissent and dogpiling on social media. But actually, most people don't agree with this Marxist nonsense. It's a very small amount of people who use their control of the media to manipulate this narrative. Sex and race swapping is ridiculous. It doesn't matter if it's Terminator, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Wheel of Time, Ghostbusters, Charlie's Angels, Birds of Prey, Black Widow. And those weren't all swapped, but they were like too much girl power, rah, and we're going to run around. Like Birds of Prey was like 5 chicks running around beating up dudes in a playhouse. That was painful to watch. Like some of those chicks were 50 and they're beating up young guys. We don't want this like Frankfurt School critical theory Bolshevik propaganda in movies. That's not what people are paying their $15 to escape for. Men are men and women are women. So we mostly want to see stories that follow the natural order and make sense, unless it's purposely played for laughs. I keep coming back to the concept of nationalism and tradition versus globalism and corruption and degeneracy. We don't want to see women replace men, because then what's the point of having men, or vice versa? You can't change reality. These gender roles are millions of years old, from 10 million years ago when the primates were coming down from the trees. Sexual dimorphism was real. Robustus versus gray seal. Because, and follow me here, only the female can bear young. That is her role, no matter how triggering reality might be to people. And when they say these kind of statements, like if you're at all enlightened, she'll play like gangbusters. If you're a closet misogynist, she'll scare the F out of you because she's tough and strong, but very feminine. What does that mean? That's just nonsense talking points. Like, what does that mean when you break that down? Or it means whatever it means. It doesn't matter. It's nonsense. They're just throwing words out there to virtue signal. But what it translates to is, don't see my movie. Oh, okay. Hey, sir, challenge accepted. I promise I will not pay for your movie. Oh, that's not what. No, Charlie's Angels. It's going to scare the misogynist. Okay, well, we're we are what you would call misogynists. Is the term real? No, it's not real. So you're saying that everyone who disagrees with you is the racist, sexist, all these whatever phobic people. It's like, okay, fine. That's what you call us, Pontius Pilate. So we're not going to see your movie. Oh, how'd that work out for you? Oh, well, shit, nobody saw our movie. Oh, congratulations, Elizabeth Banks with Charlie's Angels. So the male and the tribe protect and feed the women, and she feeds the children. That's just biology for like millions of years. Telling stories that go against that are pointless to us. People do not want to see 120-pound girls beating up linebackers. Even the woke don't support it. The SJWs, they don't go see these movies because the films bomb. If there's enough women and there's enough left-wing SJWs to support all those movies that bombed or underperformed. So why didn't they? With Charlie's Angels, she was so pissed. She goes, men have to see this movie. It's like, wait a minute. The movie's for women. You're marketing the movie to women. You made a movie by women for women. Why would men go see it? Oh, because men kind of are the driving force for most movies. Every once in a while, you'll have a Titanic or one of those kind of movies that's a huge female hit, where it's such a hit that she will drag a man to see the movie. But you're talking about still, like, movies are 90% is usually the man is dragging the woman to see the movie and not vice versa. We don't hate women. You don't get to redefine our experience with women. We love women, but you can't tell us how to love women. Sounds kind of naughty. We have different values from these Moloch worshipping commie parasites. We think nationalism, patriarchy, religion are all good things. You guys have drag queen story hour. So, I mean, like, you can't define a woman. You do this stuff to your children. You remove their genitals. I mean, if that's not, like, how much Weimar Lucifer worse being worse can it possibly get? But that's bad enough. But then the cherry on the cake is that you're trying to lecture us on morality, on what we are. You guys have drag queen story hour. You don't get to lecture us on anything because you're all fucking crazy. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, join me on Subscribe Star if you can. I'll see you guys all next episode.